frontal bone, and you only have one of them, and it makes up the top portion, the skull. And then you have two temporal, which are right around where the ears would be on this side, and then one on this side. And then you have your parental, or which forms the majority of the top and the sides of the skull, which is right here and right here. And then at the very back of your skull, you have the occipital. And then for your facial bones,
there we go.
You have your mandible, which makes up the lower jaw. And you have the maxillary, two maxillary, one right here and one right here, that make up the upper jaw. You have the palatine, which makes up, you have two which make up the hard plate, which is like the roof of the mouth, which is like in here, so you can't really see it. And then you have your zygomatic bones, which are your cheekbones, and they are right here on each side, right where it's your cheekbone. So, and then you have your lacrimal bones, which are two, and they are like they surround the tear ducts, and they're right here inside, kind of. And then you have two nasal bones, and that's the little bridge right here. And it's like one right here and one right there. And then you have your volar bone, which is the nasal septum, and it's, you can't really see it, but it's like right here. The tiny bone inside the nose hole. And then you have two inferior concha, which forms the sides of the bone, of the nose bone. I don't know where it is, because it's not on here. Don't know where it is. And then now we're going to go to the spine. So for the spine, should I just turn it around? Okay, so it goes, you have your cervical, your thoracic,
Thoracic,
your lumbar, and then your sacrum and your coccyx, right? Got this. And then the C1 is your atlas, and C2 is your axis, and those are the very top two. And then the next 5 are part of the C, the cervical curve, or the cervical region, and then T1 to T12, and these are the ones that are connected to ribs. Ribs are connected to these, and they're your thoracic region, and then L1 to L5 are your lumbar region, and they're just thicker. And then right here you have your sacrum, and then your coccyx at the very bottom, which is really just a really tiny bone.
Now go to the ribs.
Ribs, okay.
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay. Okay, so then you have your clavicle right here on each side, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 true ribs, and it just starts 1, 2. So you have 7 true ribs. Oops. And they're true because they connect to the sternum. Okay, and then you have 5 false ribs, and then the 5 false ribs, you have 2 floating ribs, and the floating ribs don't connect to any cartilage, they just kind of hang there, and the false ribs are false because they don't actually connect to the sternum, they just connect to the last piece of cartilage on rib number 7. And then you have, on your sternum, you have this major big piece where the clavicle and rib number 1 connect to, and that's your mandiburum. And then you have your body, which the majority of your ribs connect to. And then you have the excitophoid process at the very end. And that is the axial skeleton.